But after all, what is this thing called wealth? If you ask a child, they'll think of a treasure chest full of gold coins or candies. Ask an adult, and they'll probably talk about money, luxurious cars, gigantic mansions, and, of course, that social status that makes a person feel like Tony Stark. And if you ask an elderly person, they might tell you that true wealth is having health and spending time with loved ones because it all goes by so quickly, and we can't turn back time. Historically, wealth came from an old term that meant well-being. Basically, it was having enough to live comfortably. But today, the concept has transformed into a crazy race to see who can accumulate more zeros in their bank account. And that can be more toxic than a political discussion at a family dinner. Nowadays, wealth can mean freedom and security for some, while for others, it's synonymous with status and power. And of course, there are those who think wealth is having the complete collection of stickers from an album that no one else collects anymore. But who are we to judge? One of my definitions of wealth is being able to get all the one-piece Funko Pops and action figures I want. For now, I have a Luffy Gear 4 Funko Pop that my girlfriend gave me. So I'm almost there, right? So, get ready for a journey through the ups and downs of fortune, from the fairy tales of Instagram gurus to the not-so-glamorous realities of those who work themselves to the bone to pay the rent. And for you, what exactly is wealth? Go ahead and answer that in the comments. Talk to me. Well, now that we're warmed up, let's climb the mountain of wealth levels because everyone starts somewhere, right? Let's find out what the stages are until you get to the point where you can spend $300,000 in a day without even noticing. Let's go. Survival, the basics. At the first level, we have the survival stage. Here, you're struggling to pay the basic bills: rent, food, transportation, and maybe a coffee on sale. If you can pay for all that and still have some change left for streaming, congratulations, you're surviving. Security, the cushioned achievement. In the next level, we have security. You not only can pay the basic bills, but also have some money saved for emergencies. Maybe you can even take an annual trip, buy new clothes without waiting for sales, and have a decent health plan. Here, you're starting to feel comfortable. Comfort, guaranteed well-being. Now we enter the comfort zone. Not only can you pay all your bills and emergencies, but you can also afford small extravagances, dinners at nice restaurants, the latest gadgets, and more frequent trips. You don't worry as much about the bank balance at the end of the month. Affluence, the upper class. Welcome to the level of affluence. Here, you're earning well above average and start thinking about investments, real estate, and maybe even having a personal trainer for your dog. International trips, luxury cars, and glamorous parties are the norm. At this point, your life looks like a butter commercial with a touch of champagne. Luxury, the world of the rich and famous. And finally, we reach the level of luxury. This is the stage where you can spend $300,000 in a day and not feel a thing. Mansions in various parts of the world, private jets, art collections, extravagant yacht parties, and of course, the famous celebrity status. Here, the question isn't, how much does it cost, but how many do I want? But remember, with great wealth comes great responsibility, and a therapy bill because staying on top can be more stressful than it seems. So, which level are you at? The evolution of wealth through the centuries. Now that we know the levels of wealth, let's take a stroll through history to understand how the definition and perception of wealth have changed over the centuries. Ancient mythologies, before 500 BC. We start with the ancients, where wealth was measured by how many herds you had and how many offerings you could make to the gods. In Greek mythology, King Midas wanted to turn everything he touched into gold. The moral of the story? Turning your breakfast into a gold bar isn't as advantageous as it seems. I'd rather keep eating my daily bread with eggs. Middle Ages, 500, 1500 AD. Moving on to the Middle Ages, where being rich meant having lands and huge castles, while peasants worked hard just to avoid starving. Any resemblance to today's reality is mere coincidence. The feudal lords accumulated wealth and power, but didn't have a marble sink in the kitchen. In fact, they didn't even have proper kitchens. Being rich meant having a moat around your house and a collection of rusty armor. Renaissance, 1400, 1600 AD. In the Renaissance, wealth began to include commerce and art. The Medici of Florence were swimming in money and patronizing artists like Michelangelo, among others. Being rich meant not only having money, but also a questionable taste for nude statues and extravagant parties where you could discuss philosophy while sipping your expensive wine. And don't forget to look disinterestedly at the painted ceiling. Industrial Revolution, 1700 1800 AD. We arrive at the Industrial Revolution, where being rich meant owning huge factories and exploiting the workforce. Industrial magnates accumulated immense fortunes, while workers put in extra hours for minimal wages. Basically, if you were a magnate, your wealth came from the suffering of others, like that co-worker who always forgets to split the lunch bill. 20th century, 1900, 2000 AD. In the 20th century, wealth took many forms, from oil tycoons to tech geniuses. John D. Rockefeller and Bill Gates became icons of wealth. Now, being rich meant having a private jet, a mansion in Beverly Hills, and a collection of watches that cost more than a car. Oh, and of course, an extravagant taste for philanthropy to clean up your image. 21st century, 2000, present. And finally, in the 21st century, wealth can be seen in many forms. Cryptocurrencies, tech startups, and social media influencers. The difference? The speed at which someone can become rich. With a stroke of luck in the stock market or a viral video of a dancing cat, wealth can appear out of nowhere and disappear as quickly as an unfortunate tweet. Ah, the modern dream of becoming a millionaire until the next economic crisis or online cancellation. So, the definition of wealth has evolved from herds and lands to cryptocurrencies and mansions in Beverly Hills. Whatever the era, the pursuit of wealth has always played a central role in society. And you, in which era would you like to be rich? As long as you don't turn into gold like King Midas, any era should be fine.